Welcome to the 3D Ghost universe, a place dedicated to 3D creation and 3D printing. In this video, I will talk about what is, I think, the most difficult and the most frustrating thing in 3D printing. I'm talking about adhesion. What we call adhesion is simply the fact that your 3D object will stay glued to your bed during the time of the printing and that it will be easy to unglue it from the bed after the printing. Simple, easy, you will say. At the very beginning, I'm sure that you will have no problem with adhesion. Probably you will print the sample on the micro SD card with your 3D printer without having any trouble. But you will quickly ask yourself this question: why my 3D object refuses to stay glued to the bed? What you are seeing on this example is called warping. It's when the corner of your object refuses to stay on the bed. It's a classic problem and you will find a solution, don't worry. And it's not the only problem that you will have with adhesion, and it could be a nightmare very quickly. So, why do we have adhesion problems? I identified 5 points. After hours and hours of problem with adhesion, I am now able to print what I want without any trouble. So I highly recommend you to follow this step by step, and I'm quite sure that if it worked for me, it will work for you. In order to have a good adhesion and a good print, your bed have to be perfectly leveled. Once again, you will find thousands of videos about bed leveling regarding your 3D printer on YouTube. If you are the owner of a Creality printer, I will have 2 advice for you, and the first one will be to invest into a BL Touch. It could be a little bit expensive, but if you are printing a lot, it's a very good tool because it will automatically correct the little trouble of bed leveling, and then you will have to do a bed leveling maybe once a month. And the second thing that you will be able to do is to replace the springs by some silicone mounts. It's not expensive at all, but it's a good way to keep a good leveling. After your bed leveling, you will have to change some settings in your software, and personally I'm using Ultimaker Cura, but you will be able to use Simplified 3D for example. Me, I'm using Ultimaker Cura, and here in the setting box I'm using an advanced profile. Then I will have to go to temperature, and here I will change the printing temperature. It will depend on the material I'm using. You will find the recommendation, the perfect recommendation on the packaging of your filament. Most of the time for PLA it's between 200 and 220. As you can see on the packaging, it can depend. Personally, what I like to do is I'm taking the maximum recommendation and I'm doing -10, and then I will have my preference for the printing temperature. And if during the printing I identify a problem, I can change it directly in the settings of the 3D printer. And then I will have the build plate temperature, and once again it's changing regarding the printing surface that you are using, and it will also depend on the extra help you might use, so we will talk about it in few seconds. But you have to know that you change this setting in the software. After changing the temperature settings, you will have to go to what we call build plate adhesion. And build plate adhesion is a way of adding some help for adhesion by Ultimaker Cura. So you have a description and you have 3 kinds of help, and to be honest, the first one, skirt, is not helpful because it's useful but not helpful for adhesion, because it's only doing some lines around the object in order to clean the nozzle, to clean the extruder, so it's useful, but it will not help regarding adhesion. That's my point of view. The last one, raft, is creating a very big extra piece of plastic around the object, and it's difficult to remove without damaging your object, so I will never use a raft. But brim is a good one because it's only a little more surface around the object. It's quite easy to remove with a good tool like this one, for example. Sometimes you will not need any help, but if you have a doubt, Brim is the one to use. And to illustrate what they are doing, I will choose skirt, I will slice, I will go to preview, and now you can see the first layer. Here around the object you have the skirt. If I'm choosing Brim, what I highly recommend if you have a doubt or if you have troubles, then it's here. Raft, I will not choose raft. You have to understand that for me it's like putting your object inside another object and very difficult to remove. So let's say that we will stay with Brim. Your printing surface will be what we call the bed. The classical bed that you will find, for example, with an Ender tree of Creality is what we call a build tack bed. This is a special material made to glue the plastic, the hot plastic that will go out of the extruder. It worked well for my first printings of PLA with a 60-degree settings for the bed temperature. And to be honest, I thought that build tack was very good, but the problem is that I have a lot of troubles to unglue the object, and when I was working on it to clean it or to unglue the object, I was destroying the roughness of the surface. And without this roughness, it's impossible to have adhesion on the build tack. So, after destroying my solid build tack, I decided to go with flexible build tack, and it's exactly the same, but you will have a magnetic effect on the build tack on the bed that will allow you to unglue really easier your print. But with time, you have to clean the layer, and once again, I finished to destroy my flexible build tack because you will still have some parts of plastic on it. If you have a build tack and that you are having trouble, I think that it's probably because you are using a surface, a build tack, that it's not rough enough anymore. One of your solutions is to change it, of course, but the other solution is to have extra help with blue tape, for example. You can find classical blue tape, or you can find on the internet pre-cut sheet of blue tape that you will just have to glue on your build tack. So the effect of the blue tape is simple. It will add a rough layer for having a better adhesion. So in order to conclude, I will say that blue tape is exactly the same for me as build tack, with the fact that you don't have to clean because you can throw it after utilization, but you will still have some trouble with, for example, very difficult and small printing. And after trying build tack, I discovered glass bed thanks to the CR10 V2 that I bought, and to be honest with you, it's by far, for me, the best surface to print. And I changed the build tack of my Ender 3 by a glass bed. I think that it is the best surface because for most of the printing, for the simple printing, it's really easy to glue with a good temperature, as you can see on my setting, 80 degrees for PLA, and it's perfect. I'm adding 20 degrees to the global recommendation for PLA, and I'm doing that for all the material I'm working with, and for the moment it's just perfect. I already told you that glass bed is for me the best surface for a 3D printer, and it's also because you can have extra help with, for example, glue stick or double tape, and it's easy to have a good adhesion and easy to clean after the mess, for example, that the glue stick will put on your bed. The glue stick will be really helpful with large objects, like for example this rectangular piece, because those kind of objects are subject to warping really easily. If we are quickly taking a look in Cura of the preview of the print, you will understand the problem and maybe why the warping will happen to the corner of this rectangular, oh, it's very difficult to say, of this object. The first corner is print, and it will take a very long time for the nozzle to cover each and every corner. And during this time, of course, this corner will lose temperature, and when you are losing temperature, even within 80 degrees on the bed, it will be difficult for the PLA to stay glued to the bed. So in order to prevent that effect, I will cover the surface with glue, with a glue stick on the bed directly. And I'm not afraid to be generous because you will see that it's not a big problem. You can easily clean it after on the surface, on the bed, but also on the object. When you are using glue stick, you have to adapt the temperature of the bed, and in this case I will only use a 40 degrees temperature because with an higher temperature the glue stick will dry and it will have no effect on the printing. And that's also why I'm putting glue stick until the last moment of the beginning of the print. So now I'm really happy, no problem of warping, the object is still on the bed, the print is over, everything is okay. But we now have to remove the object, and as you can see, it's still glued on the bed. And my removal tool only will not be enough, and I will need an extra help with the hammer. And of course you have to be careful for not destroying the object. What you will do if you are working, like I'm doing right now for the example, with a cold bed. As you can see, there is a crack on the object. So before playing with the tool, you have to go to a high temperature, and 60 degrees will do the job for ungluing the object with a minimum of deformation. But as you can see, you will have a little curve that you can correct when the object is still hot, but it will not be perfect. So glue stick is good for decorative object, but for precision object, I highly recommend to you to watch the end of the video. So no precision object, but for decorative object, as you can see, with a scraper, a glass scraper, it's really easy to remove the glue and the object. And now the last thing that you have to do is to clean this mess. The first thing that you have to do is to go to a high temperature, 80 degrees, and then the glue will be easy to remove. I am personally using a glass scraper, a tool for cleaning ceramic hob. And finally, I'm cleaning the bed with a sponge and isopropyl alcohol. And finally, we will talk about the miracle, about the extreme solution for having a perfect adhesion. And as you can see, I'm talking about double-side tape. I was quite desperate with adhesion, so I tried a double-side tape, something that is generally used for scrapbooking. And to be honest, the result is quite incredible. You will see on this video the difference between having the tape and not having the tape. And as you can see, I have a bad adhesion without the tape, a great one with the tape. And this was my first video, and in this video I made a mistake with the temperature. It was too high. Because I discovered with time that with double-side tape you don't even have to add temperature to your bed. And as you can see, we are in Ultimaker Cura. We are looking for options about temperature, and now regarding build plate temperature, the bed, 0, it's okay for me. Even if Cura is thinking that it's a mistake, it's okay for me. I will use this temperature because I don't need any extra temperature. We are working with ambient temperature. As you can see now, you will have an extra thickness on the bed, 0.2 millimeters for my double-side tape. It's not a problem when you have a BL touch because the correction will be automatic, but if you don't have a BL touch, remember to adjust your bed leveling, and it's quite simple. You just have to use a layer of double-side tape on the regular piece of paper that you are used to use for adjusting your bed leveling. And now you can believe me, with a glass bed and a double-side tape, you can print everything, even this little object with very difficult supports, for example. And finally, another great thing about it is that you will be able to remove really easily the object from the bed. You just have to go to high temperature, 60 degrees for this example. The tape will be removed easily and the object will come with the tape. And then with a scraper or a removal tool, no deformation, no distortion, the object is perfect. And if you try everything and nothing is working, it's probably because your material is bad. So you have to change the printing material to a safe brand, a trustful filament that you already use, and then you will know if it's a problem coming from your material.